Hello everyone and welcome back to Pete's Model Car Customs. I want to try and do an update on this I Gone Wild Mobius kit. I've done quite a lot of the main painting of it and will of all the odds and sods. The body's just hanging up in the bathroom at the moment, drying off from a bit of flatting. It sort of looks like the radiator does, half rubbed down and all that sort of stuff. But I thought I'd take this opportunity to show some of the other stuff I've done, because they won't be all that visible when the kit's built up, I'll next week, hopefully I should have a final on it with it up and finished. But I still thought I'd go through the parts that I've changed. This is the lower body, and it didn't have these parts. These infill panels I've added from sheet styrene, because when the body sits down, you're just left with a hole behind the tyres, and you can see just through it, sort of thing. So I quickly made some panels there, and round the front changed this around so as it'll look like a pulley system for the engine. On the underside, I added axle detail from this is part of a moulded in floor rear diff from the Ford Falcon that I'm working on. And the prop shaft here is just a bit of hefty sprue that I've laid in to give a prop, because the underside was just there's a hump inside that hole. Go back there, that hump that looks like a H is all that you've got in here, to one either side. It just looked naff. So I covered it over with this diff from the solid floor. At the front, I've quickly made a sort of stoogey sort of sump, because there was nothing there either, just the two mounting holes, the ends of the holes, just a couple of plugs. So I've just quickly made a sump on there. I waved this about a minute ago. The radiator I've cleared through so as it's see-through. But I've also made a little infill panel for it for the inside there of a radiator, to give it something, because it was just blank in there and quite visible. So I thought a couple of bits of sheet and a couple of bits of mesh, and I've got myself a little radiator. Don't know what it'll actually show through the front, but it gives it a bit more life in there. What have I got on here? The engine's well on its way. I've just done it in a sort of orange with two different colours of sort of metallics, aluminium. This one's a polished aluminium, and this one I just came up with by mixing a bit of black in with the same aluminium. I've made up a sort of knocked up petrol pump and filter there for the front of it, because there was nothing on there, and that will lead from this sort of moon tank I've been making up, which was let's see if I can get that. And I've still got some painting on that to do, the eye on the filler cap, and bring it all out. That will fit onto there's a horn and crossbar part of the chassis that I'll mount this to. What else? The other end of that is a seat. There's no seat inside it, so I quickly made up a sheet, sort of tuck and roll looking seat panel, and on the in the body itself, I've got a mounting support under there, and I put in a sort of what do you call it, parcel shelf in the back to make the back of the seat up. This is the dashboard, and to that I've added another flying eye, because it's just totally plain. The dashboard, there's no transfer for, no decal for a speedo or anything. So I just thought I'd make up another flying eye thing. I'm going to paint this, my interior's red, so I'll paint that red as well, and then pick out this flying eye. That's the chassis horn part I was mentioning that this is separate and bolts onto, glues onto those two holes there to give you the front chassis horns and cross rail. And like I said, I'll mount the tank off of there when it's all sort of fitted up. The carburetors are, again, I've painted up into red insides, of course. I've hollowed all them out, added my parts for the plumbing and throttle assemblies. The sticky up bars are the throttle assemblies. This one here I'm putting onto the roof of the car, so it's that way around, where the flying eye's gear arm is. Hang on, if I bring that up, turn that over, knock that off. The exhaust, you can see these were slide molded, so you don't have to hollow them out. Decided to do them in white. Like I said, this part here, when this hand is sitting on the roof, this linkage will cross over and drop down into the car. You know, it's mounted on the inside of the car roof to give me a sort of crossover gear linkage down into the car, which I've just bunged in because I thought it'd be a bit of fun. And it's a few parts of scrap that were lying around, but it will make an interesting little, you know, stretch sprue and scrap offcuts. And the same with these linkages. These are just stretch sprue parts. Come in. And then a plate at the end to make my linkage in. I do a lot of stuff with stretch sprue. It's a very handy little, for just odd little bits. The wings are well on their way. I'm getting some nice shading and that into them. I intend putting a sort of yellow glaze over these and defining some of the shadows a bit more, and make the contrast bolder. The wheels, the tyres rather, and wheels, there's a ridge system. I don't know, you can see that mark all the way around there. They were caused by the ridges on the tyres, and I went round and snipped a load of the ridges off, so I've got a bag full of little chromy offcuts here, but they still managed to damage the tyres or mark the tyres. I was lucky I went in from the back and leave the front side unmarked, but that's quite a nasty mark even with cutting them down. Maybe I should have smoothed them down properly. I just went round with snips. But they've come up quite nice. I've done a sort of fiery centre to them and added valves to each of them. The rocker covers have just been coloured with an orangey red. I did all the wheel colours and all that at the same time. It's the same as the engine block colour. You just need a little bit of polishing off the tops. And then there's this final bit. This is my version of a optical nerve. So I thought, with him dangling through the roof of the car, I can, on the inside of the car, let's grab that bit, swap that bit over, and have that dangling down through the car, you know, like attaching him in. rather than sitting on the roof, because I've carved all the roof open as well, so as the seat will look better and that. But once I remove that, like that, that'll all fit together and be nice and gory in the. I thought that was quite a bit of fun too. That's I quite like that. Old piece of a pen and more stretch sprue. But there you go. That's basically it for the update on the I Gone Wild. And next weekend, hopefully, I'll have a final on this. Anyway, best wishes from jolly old England. Bye.